In 2003 and 2004, when we developed the statute, and then we came with the rules in 2005, our intent was that the regulation be specifically applied to any singular operation that would be done. And Joe, you were there, and we had that conversation in that room, and that was the intent of that organization, just like the people that drafted the Constitution of the United States in 1774 through 1776. The intent is what the rules and what the statute was to be. And I mean, it was recorded, and that's what we thought. And we thought that if we're going to have a 632 project, it was going to be a singular mine. We have two separate projects going on here, even if they came from the same hole. If I have 80 acres, and I want to develop that 80 acres, and I get a plot, and I want to build 10 houses, I go out there and I get a permit for 10 houses. If I want to build 10 houses, and 10 more houses, I got to go back to the township, to the city, or whatever municipality it is, and I have to get another permit. And so that's what we're standing here, and I think that's the real issue here. We're talking about two different ecological places, two different hydrological places, two different places, even though that they have similar bedrock, similar soils, similar drainage, they don't have the same hydrology. It's a different place. We don't have the crown pillar, that's the same thing. We don't have a vent that's at the other end. So if we have a cave-in, what's going on there? I mean, there's a whole lot of things that really may or may not be in the plan. The state of Michigan owns the land above some of this operation. I don't know who owns the land where all of the ore is, above it, but I do know this about it. I know they signed an agreement in 2010 that said these were the facilities that they were going to use. This was the corporate plan. This was the mining plan. This was the plan for closure. And this is what was going to happen during the life of the mine. Those things right now do not necessarily apply to the life of the mine because now we have a new ore body. And I can't see how you can say this is just an amendment or an insignificant addition to what's going on there. It's not insignificant. It's very significant. And I believe that you've kind of come to the agreement that it is significant. I wasn't here to hear you say that, but I know that you had said that to me before, that you're kind of rethinking that. It is a significant thing, and so we're having this broad amendment. But I think it needs to spell out all the specific details that we talked about when we were developing the whole process for Eagle, for the process that went through the rock, that could have gone someplace else into the ground, but went through the rock. That was a sacred place, not because I say it's a sacred place, because the people were there. If you look at the aerials from 1939, you'll see that there was a little road that went there through the trees that were planted. That place has always been used by tribal people. So, well, I drove by there all the time. I never saw any tribal people. I said, well, that's because they were out of sight behind. That's the culture. They don't stand out there in the middle of the AAA and do their dances. They don't do their drumming. They don't do their water ceremonies. They do that in private because it's a holy and sacred thing. So back to the Eagle East expansion, that's kind of what I really have to say about this. And I don't really believe that we have enough credible information to make this logical decision that I believe you think is going to go forward here with this amendment. I want to trust the company. I want to trust the Department of Environmental Quality, whom I've worked with hand and foot for 25 years. There's a lot of good people there. The DEQ is not an acronym for cussing. It's made up of people, but responsible people to themselves, and it's your legacy. So I would ask that you broaden your perspective of how you're looking at this whole process here, because there's water, there's air, and there's the soils, and there's the people, and that's the legacy. Thank you very much.